Okay, so I've been working on a video, and it was about healing in the finals. And yesterday, while I was writing a section on specifically the H Infuser, Embark dropped update 10.12.0. There was one singular balance change, a complete gutting of H Infuser's viability in the game. And this just genuinely really pissed me off. That entire section, which I had just finished writing 5 minutes before the update went live, was about how nerfing heals is a very lazy way to do balancing and is only going to hurt the game in the long run. And I am witnessing it right before my eyes. It's like Season 4 is happening all over again. So why am I saying all of this? Well, I just want to say H Infuser does not need this nerf. It does need to be nerfed. Its heals should be reverted back though. It should still heal at the same rate as it did pre-nerf, if not a little bit faster, maybe like 15 or 16 heals per shot. But doing this is just going to ruin the gadget. It's just going to lower pick rates by making the gadget objectively less viable relative to other gadgets. You're going to see less H Infuser usage simply because it sucks now. And that's not how we should balance the game. Instead, we should be balancing the game through a more nuanced approach to still maintain that viability for specific playstyles which take advantage of that viability. Let's look at, for example, Mesh Shield and SA12. It was a very, very, very dominant meta back in Season 2, and Embark nerfed Mesh Shield into the ground in Season 4. And then we saw basically no Mesh Shield usage. Then, once they reintroduced the ability to juggle it, albeit with a more nuanced approach where it takes damage every single time you open and close your shield, you saw a surge of Mesh Shield usage. And once it got buffed a little bit more, once Winch could no longer go through it, and you had a almost rock paper scissors type of counter system going on, you got Mesh Shield into a really, really good state. And it's this approach, this very nuanced approach, which allowed the gadget, or in this case the specialization, to flourish. What allowed it to find its niche, to find a specific playstyle that really benefited from it. You no longer saw Mesh Shield just everywhere. You didn't see every class using it anymore, but you still did see a lot of Mesh SA12 because that is a very, very, very successful playstyle. And with H Infuser, we have basically what was pre-nerf Mesh Shield, where it's basically ubiquitous. You need to run it, otherwise you're essentially throwing for your team. H Infuser is very, very, very important for acting as a reset tool, basically, just as Gateway is really good for repositioning and moving your team very large distances. And by just nerfing its output, you're not addressing the inherent issue, which is just that it's ubiquitous and it's basically a must-have. You just need to restrict the playstyles that can be used with it. So in my case, what I was writing about in my changes was to, for one, remove double healing, and whenever a player gets healed, they go on a cooldown so you can't immediately heal them afterwards. And then alongside that, keep H Infuser around the same heal rate and maybe buff it a little bit, so again 15 or 16 heals per second, and then force the user to have a manual reload, and only then would the charge start to go up, and it would start from 0. And by doing this, you create downtime and you force lights to be much more intentional with their heals. You can't just immediately reset a player, because then the other team can bait heals and then essentially force a disadvantageous fight for your team. And with how Embark's currently doing their balancing, you don't get that. You just get a worse H Infuser. You don't get this nuanced approach. You don't get this greater degree of strategy and still maintaining H Infuser's identity. Instead, you get just a worse H Infuser. And it's stuff like this which is genuinely like ruining the balancing of the game. And yeah, I just wanted to rant about that for a little bit, because H Infuser, I think, is a really interesting gadget, and there is so much potential to make it a very important item in the game without making it so dominant like it has been for so long. And we're approaching it from just a statistical standpoint. We gotta approach it from a systemic standpoint. Yeah, that's about it. I'm done with this yap. I hope you guys have a good morning, night, evening, afternoon, whatever. I'm not. This has ticked me off a lot. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, I'll see you guys. Bye bye.